Today's workout is a 10-minute first trimester toning workout. This workout will help tone and strengthen your muscles to prepare you for a strong and healthy pregnancy. All you need is a mat. Let's get started. Hey mamas, welcome to today's workout. Today we have a 10-minute first trimester toning workout. So we're going to work on some exercises to tone and strengthen our core, our upper and lower body together. We're going to work in 50-second intervals with 10 seconds rest, but feel free to take breaks as needed. We're going to begin over in a quadruped position with the hands under shoulders and knees under hips. Deep breath in, out to engage that deep core. We're going to exhale, lift the front knee for a hydrant, bending the knee at the hip, and then lower slightly back to the floor. Inhale on the lower. Exhale. You can flex or point the toe here or just keep it relaxed, whatever works. So we're working on using that breath to fire the deep core and pelvic floor as we lift that knee. Now, you're not going all the way up here, so as to lean into the opposite side. We want to keep the hips and shoulders square to the floor, and we want to stay evenly pushing through both hands so we're not collapsing into one side. So you can relax the belly if you want to at the bottom as you inhale, and as you exhale, you're engaging that core, moving slow and controlled. Now we're going to stay on the same side. If you want to rest, you can push your hips back for a minute. We're going to come back into that same position for a glute kickback. So bring your shoulders over your wrists again. We're going to take the front leg in and back. This time I want you to flex your foot. Exhale as you push through your heel. Squeeze your glute. You're kicking about hip level or lower. You don't want to go too high here. That's going to take it a little too much into the low back. So about parallel to the floor here. If you need to, you can even tap the toe. But there's no resistance here unless you want to use a band, you could. But what I want you to do is forcefully push like you're kicking through a brick wall, pushing through that heel, sending that energy to your glute, keeping that core engaged as well. It's paramount in all these exercises, keeping that core engaged using our breath. We're going to keep working that same side. This time we're going to do a little hip circle. So we're going to take the legs straight back and make little circles. You can go clockwise or counterclockwise. Here we go. You can flex or point the foot. Pointing's probably prettier, isn't it? So drawing little circles with just that outer hip muscle, those abductors, keeping everything square. Again, we don't want to open the hips. We want to keep them square to the floor so we can keep that work in the outer hip and glute and keep that leg about hip level. So just a little circle. We're not making a big movement here. I'm just kind of taking slow breaths as needed. You don't have to breathe every time you go in and out. Keeping that core braced. And if you're curious about using your breath, I have a video on how to do breath work on my channel as well that I will explain in further detail. Okay, we're going to go to a side lying leg lift. So we're going to come onto that side. So we want that same leg we were just working on the top. We want the forearm under on the floor, elbow under shoulder. We're going to lift the leg and lower with control. You want to be lifted here through the underside of your waist. Exhale on the lift, squeeze your glute, brace your core, drawing the pelvic floor in and up. So we're lifted through the underside of the waist, and we're engaging here as we lift that leg. You can also place this hand on the floor for a little more support, and that works just as well. Just make sure that chest is lifted and you're not collapsing into the floor. You can also take it to a more advanced level and come into a side forearm plank and bring the leg lift in here. Good work. Okay, we're going to move to a clamshell exercise. So we're going to stay in this position, but bring both knees together, heels together. You want your heels in line with your hip. We're going to come up and open the knees and then lower back down slowly. Inhale on the lower. Exhale. Big long exhale as you lift and open. So exhale, lift, open, close, Inhale to lower. Now you're staying lifted through this waistline. So you can see even when I'm resting at the bottom, I'm active through this underside of the waist. And then when I lift up, I'm engaging those outer hip muscles here again. Alternatively, you could stay here with the hip on the floor, but again, you're still lifted here. Such a great exercise for our deep core and pelvic floor during pregnancy and postpartum. I always recommend these. And you can even add a resistance band if you'd like a little more intensity here, if that's not quite enough. We're gonna move to hydrants. This time we're gonna go to the other side. So the exact same set again. One side's done. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. We'll do the other leg. Exhale on the lift. Inhale on the lower. Now our upper body may be a little bit more fatigued now, so just be mindful of that. Each side's going to feel different. Just moving slow with intention. Again, we're using that breath to help connect to our pelvic floor, our deep core, toning and shaping the abs, the glutes, the upper body. We cover a lot of bases here. Okay, just shifting back for a rest, and we're gonna go to our glute kickback next. So staying in this position, we're really loading the glutes, the core, and the upper body. And it's exercises like this that you can really tone and shape the muscles, making sure you're challenging each muscle group that we're working. So that might mean some of these you may need to add resistance to challenge yourself. But since it is the first trimester, I like to include some exercises like this that are really gentle, maybe not going to get your heart rate up too high, because that can sometimes aggravate nausea or just make you feel overly fatigued. So these are great exercises for the first trimester that aren't going to leave you feeling depleted, or going to leave you feeling energized, and that you're still working on building strength, but not quite training maybe to the extent that we're used to. All right, quick rest, and we're going to come back for those straight leg hip circles. So leg straight. Again, I like to point my toe. You can go clockwise or counterclockwise. It doesn't really matter. You're still going to be working those outer hip muscles, keeping the leg about hip level. But you don't really need any extra resistance to feel this. Although if you wanted to, you could add an ankle weight if you've got one. That would be ideal rather than a band. But for the 50-second time interval, this one doesn't take long to feel it. Woo, almost there. Good work. Okay, we're gonna go to that side lying leg lift now. So we want that same leg that we are just working on the top, bottom leg bent, forearm 90 degrees. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Just moving nice and slow and controlled. We're not trying to rush the leg lift. We want to lift with control and lower with control, using that strength in the leg muscles so we can continue to build that strength, maintain that strength. And you could still build strength in the first trimester, although it may not be the season for that. It may just be trying to maintain or just survive. So my advice is just to do what you can, do what feels good. And if some days you feel like a more intense workout or pushing yourself, that's great. Other days though, you may just need to back it off, and that is also great. Everything you can do to just listen to your body. All right, clams are coming, so knees forward, heels together. Using that breath to open and close. Can feel the pants starting to slip. I'm at that weird stage where I'm like, don't quite have a baby bump, but I'm very bloated. So a lot of my pants don't really fit very well. But by the time everybody sees this, it's going to be well into my pregnancy. I pre-record these a few months in advance. So nobody really knows yet, but I want to record every week of my pregnancy, every trimester, every experience, because I find that when I can relate to the audience, when I'm feeling what you all are feeling, it helps me really know what type of workouts are needed for people in the first trimester, for women in the first trimester. So I hope you all enjoyed that. I know I did. Even just a few hours ago, I was really struggling with nausea, bloating, feeling like I did not want to work out. But just some gentle movement, I feel like for me at this stage is the key. Using my breath, connecting to my core, keeping my heart rate low, but also continuing to just move my body in a way that respects and supports what I'm doing right now, which, feels like just every day is so grueling. So I'm with you if you are there too. Let me know where you're at in your pregnancy, what workouts you're enjoying, what workouts you'd love to see. I'll be taking you through my pregnancy, all trimesters and postpartum, with workouts to help support you in yours. So thank you for being here, and I'll see you back here for our next workout together.